Hey, Lord J, here in a unique space today, just as we each are, in a ovular, circular center point that is the heart when we actually start to get back to the resonance of truth, which I hope you will feel in the message today about how we heal the relationship we have with the martyr archetype. Now, I've been asking on my channels in other places, Telegrams, Peaceful Inner Warriors, United Assembly, I invite you to if you're not already part of it. And basically in there, I asked, what is the difference between the scared and sacred archetype of the martyr? And then within that, what does it mean to actually be a sacred martyr? Is there such a thing? And I don't believe there is, and certainly not by that definition, though there are many branches of it, as was the discussion had this morning over breakfast. So, the scared archetype is really the kamikaze, willing to die for a cause mentality. What I realized yesterday is the sacred archetype of the martyr is actually when we're willing to live for something, when we are so passionate, enthusiastic, authentically present, have clarity as to what we believe in and are willing to give our energy to, and willing to encourage others to find the truth that resonates for them. That is what peace, by my definition, is. Within Fully Committed, the Sacred Sojourn of Now, that I wrote last year, published on June 28th, so the anniversary is very near. Full is another acronym, as is Inner, which we can get into another time where you can just read in the book, which I have many copies of. If you would like a copy, send me a message privately. Let me know how many you would like, and then where you are so I can send you an invoice and ship it your way. Or if there are others in your area who would like me to speak and do some teaching from it, I would be glad to make arrangements to be able to do so. For that is how we actually come together in common unity, which is what community is. It is how we shift out of being scared because we're isolated and alone and we don't feel safe, compared to when we are in the sacred present now moment where we are able to feel free, feel peace. We don't have freedom, which is the domain of being free that we feel like we're in when we're there. We're here, which removes the cross that we get persecuted on. I've had many conversations recently, too, about these scars that I accrued because I was 15 and received poor advice that maimed me because I followed through with it. And the one who gave it to me said they didn't know I was actually going to listen. And so they just weren't aware that was happening, which I don't fully understand how that could have been. For I thought I mattered in their world and found I didn't, as has been proved over the years, and that's okay, yet. I have these scars because I was willing to follow through and actually live the experience I wanted to then be able to offer others insight from the experience I have, because you can see the sight of which I maimed myself with the hand of doctors that were willing to follow through with the wish that I had that did not do what I thought it would, which was make me stop sweating. I still do, and gratefully so, for this is the detox zone of the body. One of them, there are several, obviously, but when they took out chunks of skin like this and stitched them back together again, I stopped being able to regulate my body temperature the way that I would have before had I not maimed the machine that is me. The form, the vessel that transports my soul through this life no longer has all of the parts it originally did. So I do the best I can with what I've still got, and I've been able to save others the experience of going through what I did because I shared the experience of what it did when I did. You see? So, if you're considering maiming yourself to get rid of an insecurity, not feeling safe within yourself, or not liking yourself, please reach out and let us have a conversation that can give you more peace rather than turn you into a patient that is profitable for the corpse, that creates problems in order to sell solutions. The soul you have access to in the tea of now, where you can actually direct the ions of your energy through the emotions. The ego would say, emotions go, I don't like how you make me feel, yo. But the ego edges God out. Regardless of whether you call the all, God, source, creator, Allah, whatever, you say it is. All is the exclusion of none, right? Which means what is all not? Unless we are in the domain we feel sane in because others have scribed it and then we bite it. Not a word. Just by plus the ed of past tense for these intense emotions that show up to be resolved because we didn't solve them the first time they showed up. That intensity is the intense energy that we feel when the momentums of not nows that didn't get solved before show up to be resolved now, with the small trigger that set us off, with an emotional eruption to resolve all of it, because we are the individuated expressions of the all experiencing itself through us and the cells that we live within and have within us. You see? You being second person, I, me, us, we being first person, third person being they, he, she, it. When we're third person, we're no longer the one that gets to decide, which is when the urn within the journey is the ballot box we allow others to have their vote in, such as I did when I took on board the insecurities another had that resonated with the ones I had, who then misadvised, ill-advised me to actually go forward with something they had no accountability in, for they did not know I was actually doing it. Without blaming, complaining, or justifying that which was a decision not in my best interest, in the end, I discovered because I lived it, and 20 years later I can say I wouldn't have shifted in that direction had I known what the procedure actually would have been. Yet, victims blame, complain, and justify, whereas when we are empowered, we turn this rescuer into the coach. We turn the punisher into the challenger. And we turn the victim into the creator, who is on top of the TED dynamic, the ultimate TED talk we can all walk on if we do not fall into the valley of victimhood. In the Cartman's drama triangle, there is an empowered version of called the empowered dynamic that I pulled from the internet and then say that internet is how we disconnect from the interconnectedness that we are when our cells are in resonance together in harmony, because we can feel one another's magnetic field of the heart. So, the Sacred Martyr, though, I've mentioned the empowered dynamic and the disempowered dynamic. What does the Sacred Martyr look like? If the scared martyr is one who is willing to die for a cause, what if the sacred martyr did not require the sacrifice of the physical form in order to create a new norm, but instead was one who lived for something, one who lived for the cause, that chose to be alive and fully committed to dive into the depth of the unknown, to blaze the path that only we can. For there is no them versus us. We are the ones who are following scripts others wrote in a game that would rope us into a not now where our power is no longer in present tense, present to this now moment, where the cross on there that would hang us out to dry on the line that we are implied to be as the clothes of suits, which are titles, statuses, or personage, were converted into, and then go out onto the line that we are walked to through the life or death sentence another would issue within the legal system, for instance, compared to when we drop the T and see that we are right here, and there is no T, for we are it, and here is all we have in the now. And the Sacred Martyr knows this, feels this, and lives this. What if? Leave a comment down below to let me know what this message means to you, what it feels like to you, and what you're going to do with the information you have now consumed because I created it and you digested it, as you can do when you take your creative power back too. I said it at 11:11, which is new beginnings. So with that, I bid you adieu, Lord Jai, namaste.